Yes. All right. Inside the New York Bobcat locker room here at the Twin Rinks at Eisenhower Park, it's another edition of Craig's Corner. Carmine Vachano with you. And alongside me is the New York Bobcats general manager and assistant coach, Craig Doremus. And Craig, a lot to get to. Let's dive right in. Last week, the New York Bobcats, or should I say Veterans Day weekend, the club heads up to Hudson, New Hampshire, and you had the second showcase in the EHL. Didn't fare so well. Like the first one in October, the club goes 1-2, sandwiched a win in between a couple of losses. And just, again, talking to Kevin Kerr over the weekend, he just says a couple of things just didn't go your way. Just your assessment about that showcase.
Absolutely disappointing effort by the team. I think discipline, penalties came back to haunt us, lack of compete, lack of desire. And ultimately, I think we weren't prepared for the weekend, to be honest with you, and I think it showed in our play. Very disappointing, to say the least. We had the chance to bounce back and make it a successful weekend, but we laid an egg against Northern and only came back with 2 of 6 points, and just unacceptable effort by the boys.
Fast forward to last Thursday, and you guys go on the road. You play the New Jersey Rockets, and we talked about them on the last episode. I believe their young team has a lot of players that have bright futures, and you guys were able to get a goal from Tyler Peters, and unfortunately weren't able to hold that lead. New Jersey winds up with a 2-1 victory. You throw 40 shots on net. Again, the frustration factor of just not finding the back of the net.
Yeah, I think we spoke about, like you said, Carmine, they're a good hockey club, and we certainly weren't surprised with their effort. We knew it was going to be a rivalry game. We spoke to our players about it. Any type of game like that, just throw the records out. It's going to be an intense game. It's going to be a hard-fought game. And we weren't surprised by the Rockets. We respect their talent and their ability, and we knew they were going to come at us hard, wanted to get some revenge for the defeat at our place a couple weeks ago. And truth be told, you hit it on the head. We didn't play that bad. Just came up on the short end of the stick. Their goaltender made some big saves, especially late in the game when we were pressing hard to tie it up. And unfortunately, just didn't get the 2 points. Not a terrible effort by the team. Not our best, but certainly not our worst. And just a disappointing night on the road.
The club makes an acquisition. They bring in Brett Johnson, and he's a guy that, again, played for the Northern Cyclones. He actually spent some time in the Minnesota League, puts up points. He was actually a former Bobcat not too long ago, and I had a chance, obviously, to see him play on Saturday against Applecore, and the first thing that stood out to me was just his vision and speed, and he's a guy that, creates a lot of time and space for not only him but his line mates. And just, again, you and the coaching staff and Kevin Kerr and everyone else, what was the reason that you guys pulled the trigger to bring him in?
Well, I think anytime you go through a little bit of a rut, you look for something to spark the team. We were down a few forwards anyway with some injuries, so we were definitely looking to bring in somebody up front. We knew Brett was available, did our background, our intel on him. Like Gid mentioned, he was a prior to going out to Minnesota to play for the Dells Duck, was a New York Bobcat. So spoke to some of the former people who were around then and got some intel on Brett. And then spoke to some of his former teammates with the Dells Duck. They spoke very highly of him. And from speaking to the people in Northern, the kid just needed a change of scenery. Wasn't anything really bad. So we felt it would be a good opportunity for us to acquire him and give him a chance. As in junior hockey with any player, there's no risk really for us. If the player doesn't work out, we can release him, trade him, let him go. So for us, it was something pretty easy. He's a guy who comes in and complements our forward group pretty well. I think he's got a nice offensive game to him. And I think anytime you can bring in an uncommitted 20-year-old, you're going to get a motivated athlete because they want to secure that college commitment. And we've talked to Brett about it already, the parts of his games that are strong and the parts that he needs to work on. I think he's done a good job here in his first week or so with the boys. And I think he's going to be big for us going down the stretch. I really believe in Brett Johnson and the fact that he can play a big role in this team.
Past couple of games, you take a look at the scoring sheet, and you've been getting some secondary scoring. Tyler Peters is a guy that jumps off the page. David Clayman, a couple others, kind of taking some of the pressure off guys like a Corey Kennedy and C.J. Totillo, if you would, kind of leading the way offensively. Is that something kind of refreshing that you and Kevin Kerr have been looking at?
Oh, absolutely. I think we spoke about it early on in the season. We were going to be a team that was the sum of its parts. We're going to need offense from up and down our lineup. Yes, I think Corey Kennedy truly is one of the best players in the league, but with that being said, teams are going to start to take note of that. He's going to face their top defensive forwards and top defensemen on a night-to-night basis, and we have to give him the support that he needs to continue to be a playmaker, but also get some contributions from some other lines. And I think as of late we've gotten it, probably not to the extent we would have liked, but I think some guys are starting to come out. And we spoke early about not a lot of guys here have played junior hockey yet. They're starting to get used to the rigors of it and the grind of it on a day-to-day basis. And now I think you're seeing some guys really feel comfortable in their roles, identifying what they have to do to be successful, and they're being rewarded by finding the back of the net.
Saturday, the Bobcats were able to end that 2-game skid against New York Applecore. They came in a division rival, if you would, a big rival, and they're a club that started off the season very hot. I believe 5-2, and then out of nowhere, they just kind of went on this tailspin. I had one win in their last 11 before the game on Saturday, and they're they were just a team struggling to find the back of the net. And that's a team, though, that's also the most dangerous. I mean, desperate for a win. And they were able to take that 1-0 lead in the first period. But the club was able to battle back, rattle off 4 unanswered, hold on to the 4-1 victory. Just, again, your overall thoughts about that game.
Well, I think you hit it on the head. I think a point of that game that a lot of people forget about is a huge save by Brandon Rathwell when we're down 1-0. Makes an incredible stick save. Guy had a wide open net. Brandon gets the paddle in front of him. We respond back, come back. I think for us, though, it was kind of like we spoke, throughout leading up to the game Friday and Saturday about being resilient and not letting a couple losses become a losing streak. And I think every team in this league is going to go through their peaks and valleys. We just have to learn to balance it out. And I was proud of the boys and happy for them to work and compete and get rewarded, because at the end of the day, we have worked hard in most of our games, even the games we've lost. Just haven't got some bounces and been a little bit undisciplined. That's our own fault, and we've addressed that as a group internally. So I was happy for the boys to get rewarded, because you do need to have some success in order to believe in what you're doing. And they were able to follow through on the game plan, execute it well. And again, I think you had some contributions from up and down the lineup, which is always a good thing to see.
Now we come to this weekend. I know that was this weekend was something that I know I circled on the calendar to see the Northern Cyclones and New Hampshire Junior Monarchs come in and talk about class of the league. And, these two are right up there, regular season champions and actual playoff champions in Northern and New Hampshire. Given the background, given the history of these two clubs, and obviously you guys faced Northern earlier in the season, but, just taking a look at them, I mean, just such class and such a resume, if you would, of championships and player placement and, player advancement. Yeah, how exciting is it, though, to finally, get a chance to see clubs like that come in and back in or before with the EHL at the time, Atlantic Junior League, you weren't able to see teams like a New Hampshire Junior Monarchs. So now to finally face them, just what's the excitement going on for this weekend?
Well, we're very excited. When you talk about those two clubs, I think it's important that you note that 3 of our 5 losses against them have been by 1 goal. So we're there. We're getting there. Yes, they're 2 well-respected programs. Take nothing back from that. And Coach Flanagan does a great job with his Cyclone program. And Ryan's picked right off from prior coach Sean Trombley with the Monarchs and established a good program. But no mistake about it, we're not going to fear anybody. We want to come out. We believe in our system. We believe in our program and what we offer as well, and our tradition and our history. And I think for our guys, it's important not to lose the game prior to going into it. We can respect them. We can go to bat with them. And as long as our guys stay focused on the task at hand, we'll be fine.
All right. Best luck this weekend.
Thanks again.